I feel like we need to give it up for Edgar Wright. Okay. Like, first of all, there would be no Sparks and Sparkles without Edgar Wright. There'd obviously be Sparks, but there wouldn't be this podcast. Okay. So that would be really sad, you guys.
So Edgar, you got to really appreciate how you influence us to create this.
Exactly. And
Sure, right.
but actually what I really want to say is that Sparks, without that documentary, they would obviously still be immensely respected and hugely influential. But what Edgar Wright did, and I have read some interviews with him where he kind of talked, like he talked about, I think he saw them, and if I'm getting these facts right, I'm not 100% sure, but he saw them, I want to say in 2017. He was with another director, and Edgar Wright said to this guy, you know what this band needs? They need a documentary. That would make them that would make them as big as they deserve to be. And I believe the other director said, you should do it. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, but I feel like he actually did succeed, because I hear all the time that someone saw the documentary and now they're really into them. And that's kind of, I knew about them, but I certainly wasn't at this level of obsession beforehand. And it's been really fun. But one of the things that I actually have been a fan of Edgar Wright for a really long time. One of the things I really love about his films and his filmmaking is that I feel like he brings a lot of just enthusiastic joy of what he's creating to whatever film, or even Spaced, because he did Spaced back in the day. If you haven't watched Spaced, I recommend it.
Yes.
I mean, I would say probably more well known than the Sparks Brothers documentary is Baby Driver. I suspect that's his most successful film so far. But if you haven't seen them, I could not recommend the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's roll it back. Like,
yes, we're rolling it back.
It's
go watch Spaced.
It's great. It just captures that moment in time of being in young 20s. It captures, and because it was like early 2000s, right?
I think it was early 2000s. It feels very much of its time, but at the same time, it's a little timeless. Not unlike Come Out of My House.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. And then you had Shaun of the Dead was so brilliant.
And I just want to say Hot Fuzz, I actually feel like is a note perfect movie. There is no wrong bit in Hot Fuzz. It's perfect. I feel like World's End is the weakest of those three, and I kind of think Edgar would agree, but who knows? I haven't spoken to him, but Edgar, call me. I would be happy to sit down and have some sparks and sparkles and chat with you about this. But they are just a lot of fun. And I also went and saw Edgar's most recent film, Last Night in Soho, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I mean, having lived in London, being also a music obsessive, and I was fortunate enough because I live really close to the Aero Cinema in Santa Monica. So when Last Night in Soho premiered there, Edgar was there, and that happens a lot. I live in Los Angeles, so you often get the opportunity to go see directors and actors and writers talk about their films. And I really try and take advantage of that because I kind of consider it like free school. It's so much more meaningful to me than listening to somebody promote their movie, because the types of things that they tell you when they're just promoting their movie, which obviously they're promoting when they go and do that stuff. But when it's like, they're in a hotel room and they have to do 25 interviews, it's like it's a lot less meaningful, let's put it that way. So one thing Edgar Wright said in the post screening discussion after Last Night in Soho was he wanted to do a film about the 60s because it feels so close to his lifetime, but then he was never there to experience it, like all the coolness of it. And I think Edgar was born in 1974. I was born in 1973. I always feel that way about the 60s. It feels so close, but then I didn't experience any of it. Anyway, this is all of a tangent to say that I think Edgar Wright's films are awesome. And I think that joy that he brings, I can see why Ron and Russell thought he was the right guy to tell their story, because Sparks has that joy in what they're doing. I think that's always there. So Edgar, call me. We'll go drinking. We'll talk about music. We'll talk about movies. We will have an amazing time. I'm not kidding. Okay. And I won't be weird. I don't care that you're a director. I mean, I do. I think it's amazing, but I can treat you like a human. Okay. Just as buddies. I'm married. I'm just saying we can talk music and movies. And I will fangirl out a little bit about Hot Fuzz. Okay. I will do that. Other than that, we're going to be good.